surveying, pressure comes, throws over the middle, and it's intercepted by Kirby Joseph. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Bobby Valentine Sports Show. I am your host, Frank Rampin. The NFL season is finally here. Football is back. Fall is here. That little bit of chill is in the air, and I cannot wait to dive into the first episode of the NFL Breakdown. So, here we go. Let's dive right into the weekly recap, and we'll start off with our stat of the week. And man, football is so good to be back. Got my black Max Crosby jersey on in front of all the Raiders stuff. We got a Kenny Stabler right here throwing TD passes to Dave Casper, the Ghost. You know what it is. Got a couple helmets. Crickets over here. No more longer on the team. We got the Super Bowl Marcus Allen. Howie. Tim Brown. Of course, we got the Coliseum. We got the boys. You know what it is. So, in the new Raiders setup, here we go. Let's dive into this week. So, stat of the week for the first NFL podcast of the 2024 season. Couple stats of the week because football is back. Been longing for it. And I got a couple interesting ones for you. So let's start off in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Daniel Jones, did not look very good this weekend against the Minnesota Vikings. Giants failed to score a touchdown in the game. And since Daniel Jones signed his $160 million contract with the New York Football Giants, he's thrown more touchdown passes to the other team than to the Giants, to his own receivers. He's thrown 3 pick sixes and 2 touchdown passes since signing that deal last March, by the way. So he played in half of last season, just about, maybe a little bit less because he tore his ACL. Actually, against the Raiders, he tore his ACL. But Daniel Jones, 3 pick sixes and 2 touchdown passes since signing his massive deal with the Giants. Saquon Barkley has more touchdowns on the Eagles than Daniel Jones has for the Giants since he signed the contract. Saquon scored 3 on Friday night in Brazil. And Daniel Jones, like I just said, has 2. Another interesting one, talked about Josh Jacobs briefly, the former Raider, no longer on the team anymore. He's only 3 catches away from becoming the all-time receptions leader without having a single touchdown reception. Pretty impressive stuff. And in week 1, there was only 35 total touchdown passes thrown the entire week, including Thursday, Friday, and Monday. Only 35 touchdown passes thrown. That's the fewest amount of touchdown passes thrown in a week since 2006. And last year in week 1, there were 61. So think about that. About half of the touchdown passes thrown by quarterbacks in week 1 this year compared to last year. Interesting stat there. So the defense is way ahead of the quarterbacks, and the quarterback play was not very good in week 1 of the NFL season. So we'll look for that to improve. But now we'll go from the stat of the week to the play of the week, and I feel like I had to include this one. Historic moment in Orchard Park, Buffalo Bills taking on the Arizona Cardinals. And this was right after Josh Allen ran in his second touchdown of the day. 31-20, Bills have a 11-point lead with just under 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And this new, what do they call it, the enhanced kickoff or whatever they want to call it. It's been weird, mixed reviews during Thursday night and Friday night, the 2 first primetime games, the 2 first football games of the year. A lot of touchbacks, not a lot of returns, and a lot of weird-looking plays on the screen. Fans didn't seem too happy about it. But on the NFL Sunday, the first NFL Sunday of the year, a lot more returns, about a 40-45% return rate. So, Orchard Park, head back out there. Cardinals down by 11. Tyler Bass to kick off. Need to get back into this ball game. Just under 9 minutes left. So, Tyler Bass kicks it into the landing zone. DJ Dallas makes the catch at about the 8-yard line and has a seam up the middle. Breaks a few tackles, splits the defenders, and jukes out Tyler Bass, the kicker, and now it's a foot race. To the 20, to the 10, 5, dives to the goal line, and the first ever new kickoff return touchdown is by DJ Dallas of the Arizona Cardinals and gets them right back into this ball game. So the first time we ever see the new style of kick return go to the house, and honestly, it was kind of interesting. It did bring a little bit of a different aspect to games this weekend, but we'll see what happens in the future with it. But history was made in Orchard Park, the first ever new kickoff return to the house. So now, going from the play of the week to the game of the week, this one takes us to Detroit, Sunday Night Football. This was actually a rematch of the Sunday Night Football game in the divisional round of the playoffs, where the Rams headed to Detroit to take on the Lions. The Lions ended up winning that one and going all the way to the NFC Championship game. So a rematch of that game, Stafford goes back to his old stomping grounds. And early on, both teams trade-off field goals. Rams kick one first, make it 3-0, and the Lions tied up 3-3. So next possession for the Lions, Goff hits Jameson Williams over the middle. Bunch of yak right there. The speedster J-Mo out of Alabama making a huge play there. A couple plays later on 2nd and 10, Goff into the flat to Jahmyr Gibbs, setting up the screen. He's going to pick up a first down and about 5 extra yards. So Lions making things happen here, moving all the way into Rams territory. So after another Jahmyr Gibbs run to get them inside the 10-yard line, 2nd and goal, going to hand it back to Jahmyr Gibbs, and he's going to power his way. What's the call? Looks like he stopped. Referee comes in and marks him short. Did the ball come out? The Rams think that they have it. Let's take a look from the side angle. Gets stood up immediately, keeps the legs driving, extends the ball. Nothing hits the ground, and he breaks the plane. The ball doesn't come out until after he hits the ground. So touchdown Lions. First touchdown of the season goes off of the feet of Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs, that was his 11th rushing touchdown in his 16th career games. That's the most by a Lions player since Barry Sanders had 15 in his first 16 games. So we're going to move up ahead here. Next, Lions possession. They move the ball all the way inside the 10-yard line. 2nd and goal from the 8. Stafford surveying. Pressure comes. Throws over the middle, and it's intercepted by Kirby Joseph. Intercepted. Rams don't get a chance to score. We're in field goal range on a chance to tie the ball game up, but Kirby Joseph picks him off. Red zone turnover in the first half of the first game of the season for Stafford and the Lions after they had 0 red zone turnovers in the entirety of last season. So already off on the wrong foot there. Stafford turns it over in the end zone. So 10-3 we go into halftime, and 3 points are the fewest points in the first half in a regular season game under Sean McVay. That ties that. 3 points. They also had 3 points at the half in the Super Bowl they went to, that infamous 13-3 Super Bowl between the Patriots and the Rams. So let's not talk about that one, but still. So I guess the third game that's happened. So now moving into second half action. First possession of the second half, the Lions, about the 48-yard line. Goff takes a deep drop on 3rd and 3, looking deep down the left sideline. J-Mo again, wide open, makes the catch, dives into the end zone. Another touchdown for the Lions, making it 17-3. Great throw and catch from Goff and Jameson Williams. Puts the Lions further out in front. So now Rams possession, 3rd and 10, little screen pass to Cooper Kupp. Makes a few men miss, stiff arms a man, and picks up the first down. So Cooper Kupp finally back and healthy. Last year had a lot of injuries. A little bit of a weird season for Cooper Kupp. Last year going into it, he was supposed to be the Cooper Kupp we all knew, and it didn't really work out that way. But this year seems to be back. So 1st and 10. Stafford fakes the handoff, looking deep down the left sideline. Who, again, guess who? Cooper Kupp. Another first down for him, and it was like every time he touched the ball in this game, it was either a big play, a first down, or, like you'll see later, maybe a touchdown. Demarcus Robinson makes another first down on 4th and 2. So now the Lions, I keep messing this up because Stafford's in this highlight. It's really tough for me. But after a penalty on the defense, setting up a Rams 1st and goal, Jesus. So 1st and goal, they're going to hand it off to Kyren Williams. He's going to fight his way to the goal line for the first Rams touchdown of the season. So after a sputtering first half, a pick in the end zone from Stafford, after not turning it over in the red zone all of last year, they finally crossed the painted line, and now it is 17-10. So the Lions end up going 3 and out on their next possession, giving the ball back to the Rams. And on a 2nd and 12 from their own 14-yard line, Matthew Stafford hits Tyler Johnson, makes a few men miss, makes another man miss, and he's off to the races. Into Lions territory, all the way down inside the 25-yard line, down to the 22. What a catch and run from Tyler Johnson. Sets up a huge first down inside of Lions territory. So now we head into the 4th quarter here as Stafford tries to tie this ball game up. They trail by 7. So the Rams do end up scoring, but a penalty pushes it back. They do have to kick a field goal. And they do just that. Nailed in there to make it 17-13 with 12 and a half minutes left to go in this one. So now Lions got the ball back again, up by 4, under 12 minutes left to go. 3rd and 6 here. Goff surveys, takes off, and he's going to run for it. Evades a defender and dives forward for 7 yards on 3rd and 6 to pick up a massive first down for the Lions. Now Goff fakes the handoff. Who's he going to throw to this time? Again, Jameson Williams, another massive play for this Lions team inside the 35-yard line of the Rams. So now, later in the drive, 2nd and 8, inside the 30, Goff over the middle, and he's intercepted. Picked off, huge turnover for the Rams, and the Lions get off the field. So now 3rd and 1, Stafford flushed out of the pocket, makes a no-look throw across the middle, caught for a first down. What a throw that was from Matthew Stafford. This man still has it. He looked unbelievable in the second half of this game. Another throw across the middle to Demarcus Robinson, and the Rams are driving. 1st and 10, across midfield now. Fakes the handoff to Kyren Williams. Drops back, throws left sideline to Cooper Kupp, who makes a great toe tap catch on the sideline. What a play to catch the ball, secure it, and get the feet down. 1st and 10 for the Rams. They're in business with less than 6 minutes to go in this one. And after Stafford evades the rush, throws one right sideline to Marcus Robinson inside the 10-yard line. What a play that was to evade the rush from Stafford. Now 1st and goal. Fakes the handoff, throws in the flat to Cooper Kupp, and nobody's home. Touchdown Rams. They go on top with 4.5 left to go in this game. 20-17, Los Angeles leads. So now, after being down 17-3 early in this third quarter, the Rams have stormed all the way back to take a 3-point lead with less than 5 minutes to go here in Motown. Huge drive here for the Lions, trying to keep this game tied up. Goff was almost picked off earlier in the drive, but it was dropped. Would have sealed the game almost if they got a couple first downs, were the Rams. But wild play that was. Here we go. 2nd and 5 from the 36-yard line. Across the middle, Goff throws to Sam Laporta, who makes the catch, takes a huge hit at the 50-yard line into Rams territory, and they're going to tack on 15 extra after the head-to-head hit. So Sam Laporta makes a clutch catch and gets the Lions into field goal position. Now here, Jahmyr Gibbs on his screen pass gets down just outside the 20-yard line, setting up Jake Bates. So now Jake Bates from 32 yards away as time is expiring, ties things up. With 17 seconds left, the Lions are looking like they're going to force overtime. So we will go to that overtime period. The Lions end up winning the toss, and obviously you're going to take the ball. So the first play of overtime, they do a reverse to Khalif Raymond, and he's got tons of space on the left side. Picks up about 12 yards for a first down here, and a good start for the drive for the Lions. Couple plays later, David Montgomery, massive hole. He breaks through it, breaks 2 tackles, and he's off to the races. Huge run by Montgomery all the way inside the 40. And the Lions in business early on here. So now 3rd and 1 inside the 10-yard line. Rams need a stop. Lions looking to finish this game off with a touchdown. Dave Montgomery, another tough run. Big pile. The O-linemen are moving it all the way down to the 1-yard line. So now the Lions just 1 yard away from scoring a touchdown and ending this game. And Dave Montgomery does just that. Smashes through the line. They ran the ball 7 times out of 8 plays on this final drive, did the Lions, and they just smashed it right into the end zone. Game-winning touchdown. The first Sunday Night Football game of the year brings us our first overtime game of the year, and it was the first win for the Lions in overtime since 2016. And also the first home opener win under Dan Campbell. So a good start for the Lions. They were very good last year, made it all the way to the NFC Championship game, looking to do the same this year. So, game of the week took us to Detroit. Now let's do the standings update. As it is the beginning of the season, week 1 just wrapped up last night with the Jets and the Niners. I'll give you my division predictions, who I think is going to win each division in this round. I also made record predictions for each team. So, I have them all in order of the way that they are now, like the after week 1, the standings. So, it won't be my standings, but I'll tell you what we think. So, start things off with the AFC East. They had a big comeback win against the Jacksonville Jaguars at home. They had a very, very eventful day. Tyreek Hill actually got detained, thrown on the ground by police before the game for speeding and disobeying an officer. Calais Campbell, who is a former NFL or Walter Payton Man of the Year, was also put in handcuffs for trying to figure out what was going on. Whole situation with the Miami-Dade police department right before this ball game. But Tyreek Hill ends up coming in, having 150 yards in his score. So the Jags actually were winning 17-7. About to go up 24-7 when Travis Etienne had a chance to score. The ball was knocked out at the goal line, and the very next play, Tyreek Hill scored an 80-yard touchdown. So that really flipped the game on its head. They ended up winning on a 52-yard Jason Sanders field goal at the buzzer. And Tyreek Hill actually has the highest amount of receiving yards per game in season openers in NFL history. Tyreek Hill's 112.1 yards is the most yards per game in season openers in the history of the NFL. That's ahead of Michael Irvin, who's 106.8, and Antonio Brown, 103.3. And I actually think the Miami Dolphins are going to get over the hump this year and win this division. I got them going 11-6 and taking home the AFC East crown. Right behind them, as of now, the New England Patriots pulled off the shocker of the week in the jungle in Cincinnati, beating the Bengals 16-10. Probably the upset of the week, and Gerard Mayo's first coaching win. I do think the Patriots are still a growing team, a struggling team. I think they're only going to probably get like 5-ish wins. I got them going 5-12. The Buffalo Bills, I have them being in a dogfight for a wild card spot this year with the New York Jets. I have both the Bills and the Jets going 10-7. A large part of me wanted to pick the Jets to win this division, but I just couldn't do it. No matter how good the Jets roster is, no matter how healthy or good Rodgers is, you can win his 5th MVP this year, or whatever number, 4th MVP. Something will happen with the Jets where they'll go wrong. I just feel like that will happen, so I went with the Dolphins in this division. And I also don't think the Bills have enough weapons. I don't think Josh Allen can do a one-man show for an entire 17-week season. If he does, he should win MVP. But the Bills, they did beat the Arizona Cardinals 34-28. They came back to win that game. They were down early. Josh Allen was dominant, put the Superman cape on, and he tied the NFL record for the most games ever with 2 or more passing touchdowns and 2 or more rushing touchdowns. He's got 4, tied with Steve Young for the most all time. He just passed Cam Newton, who had 3. The New York Jets, we saw them last night lose to the San Francisco 49ers 32-19. Not the greatest game for the Jets. The defense was getting gashed on the ground. No Christian McCaffrey, but Jordan Mason, the undrafted second-year player at Georgia Tech, was going wild. He ran for 147 yards on this Jets defense. Rodgers, the big story was Aaron Rodgers' return. He looked okay to start. He had a good drive where he hit Garrett Wilson a bunch of times in a row where they got down and scored on a Breece Hall run. He threw a touchdown on a free play to Allen Lazard, which is what he does. It was pretty interesting to see Rodgers play, but slow start, but you can still see the spews that Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers went 13 for 21 with 167 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. The Jets have lost 13 of their last 14 primetime games. The NFC East, the Philadelphia Eagles made a statement win for the first ever win in Sao Paulo, Brazil. I think the Eagles are going to come in 10-7 in this division. I do think the Cowboys are going to edge them out. After we saw them play on Sunday, the Cowboys looked really good. But we'll see what happens. Long season. Saquon Barkley had 3 touchdowns in his first game as a Philadelphia Eagles. That was his second career 3-touchdown game. First one since his rookie year back in 2018. And he's the second Eagles player ever to have 3 touchdowns in his team debut, joining Terrell Owens, T.O. And he became the second Eagles player with a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown in team debut. The Dallas Cowboys, like I mentioned, looked very, very good on Sunday. Dak Prescott signed a contract to become the highest paid player in the history of the NFL a couple hours before the game, and played pretty well before it, or played well during it. 33-17, they took down the Cleveland Browns, who were supposed to be a solid team. The Cowboys defense looks unbelievable in that one. The Browns didn't look as good, but Dak signs the biggest contract of all time. We'll see what happens with him. The Washington Commanders lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 37-20. Jaden Daniels went 17 for 24 with 184 yards, no passing touchdowns. He did run for 88 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns, so a little bit of promise there, but he only averaged 1.7 yards per attempt through the air. So a little bit of growing pains for all of the rookie quarterbacks. We'll see. Jaden Daniels had an okay day. The Giants did not look very good at all, losing 28-6 to the Minnesota Vikings. They also were wearing horrible jerseys to go with it. They looked really bad. Daniel Jones looked really bad. He threw a pick 6. Gave you the stat earlier. He's got more pick 6s than touchdown passes since signing his big deal. Over to the AFC North. This is going to be an interesting division. I'm not really sure how to call this one. It's always a weird dogfight division, the AFC North. And one injury can really blow this thing up. The Steelers, though, the only team that took a win in week 1. They beat the Atlanta Falcons 18-10 on 6 Chris Boswell field goals. They're the only team in the NFC North to not score a touchdown, but they're the only team to win. So interesting there. Third win without scoring a touchdown in the Mike Tomlin era, and it was the first one since 2008. And TJ Watt was an absolute game wrecker. Every other play was in the backfield, hitting Kirk Cousins, making him throw away, sacking him. 2 strip sacks that were called back. He had a fumble recovery that sealed the game. Man, this guy's unbelievable. The Cleveland Browns did not look very good against the Dallas Cowboys. Deshaun Watson did not look very good. Browns fans are not very happy with him. Paying him a lot of money to not be so good. He was not very good last year. He got hurt. He's only played in one game this year, but I mean, we haven't seen the Deshaun Watson that deserves the type of money that Deshaun Watson is getting since when? The COVID year? Maybe before that? It's been a while. And yesterday just came out another sexual assault allegation. So he just can't get away from those, and Browns not off to a good start. The Baltimore Ravens lost the opening game of the NFL season on Thursday night to the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium, 27-20. Almost tied things up late. Actually, they were going to go for the win. Lamar Jackson threw a touchdown pass that would have been a touchdown pass to Isaiah Likely. He made the catch, came down. They called it a touchdown on the field, but after review, his toe had just barely touched the out-of-bounds line, waved off. The Baltimore Ravens, they were going to go for two to try to go for the win, but not to be. The most rushing yards by QB NFL history. Leading that list is Michael Vick with over 6,109. In second place, Cam Newton with 5,628. And then Lamar Jackson's in third with 5,380. So this season, most likely, will pass Cam Newton for second all time. And in third place, who he actually just passed in week 1, Russell Wilson. Interesting. Cincinnati Bengals falling to the New England Patriots at home this week, 16-10. The offense looked very, very bad. Offensive line was a little bit shaky. Joe Burrow had a lot of pressure, especially on the big third down plays. Looked like the Patriots really were able to pin their ears back and pressure the quarterback when they needed to. So going to need to look at that if you're the Bengals. The NFC North so far, led by the Minnesota Vikings, who took a beat down to MetLife Stadium in the New York Giants. Sam Darnold in his old stomping grounds looked very good for the Vikings. Interesting story for him. This is his, fourth or fifth team. Hasn't worked out in any other spot, so maybe we'll see what happens here. Especially now with J.J. McCarthy out for the year, it's probably his show. So we'll see if Sam Darnold can be good all season long. The Detroit Lions, this is my pick to win this division at 12-5. Oh, I forgot to tell you who I thought was going to win the AFC North. I did pick the Baltimore Ravens to finish that division 11-6, but I have a lot of tightness around that. I have 11-6 for the Ravens, then 10-7 for the Bengals, and then 9-8 for both the Steelers and the Browns. Actually, I have the Browns going 8-9, but still, very, very tight AFC North. So the Lions, they just beat, or the Vikings, excuse me. Oh, no, the Lions. I have the Lions winning this division. They're 12-5. Jahmyr Gibbs had his 11th rushing touchdown in his first 16 career games. Mentioned that's the second most behind Barry Sanders back in 2000, or back when he had 15. The Chicago Bears. Very interesting. The Chicago Bears just beat the Tennessee Titans 24-17, but the offense didn't score any points. They scored 2 touchdowns in the game, one of them off a blocked punt scoop and score touchdown by Jonathan Owens, Simone Biles' husband, and then a pick 6 that gave them the lead. Caleb Williams is the first overall pick quarterback to win his first career start since David Carr, all the way back in 2002. And it's the first win by the Bears with under 150 yards of total offense since 2006. Quarterback for that team was Rex Grossman, and that year they went to the Super Bowl. That was the year when Devin Hester took the opening kick of the Super Bowl to the house. But Caleb Williams, 14 of 29 for only 93 passing yards, 15 rushing yards, and a 23.3 total QBR. So not a great start to the career of Caleb Williams. He did get the win, becoming the first quarterback to win in his first game ever as a number 1 pick since 2002. But still, it's going to be an interesting start for him, see how he can do throughout the first couple weeks of his career. The Green Bay Packers took a tough loss in Brazil, and even more tough than the loss was that on the second to last play of the game, they lost their starting quarterback, Jordan Love, to an MCL sprain. Thankfully, he's not going to be out for the entire season, but 4 to 6 weeks is what they're saying, and man, that is a tough blow, especially after the first week of the season, you pick up a loss as the Packers. So man, tough scene for the Packers. Hopefully they can bounce back from that, and Malik Willis will be the starter there. The Houston Texans, I have them as my pick to win this AFC South, going 11-6. They took down the Indianapolis Colts in the Ladhouse, 29-27. C.J. Stroud has absolutely annihilated the AFC South in his career. He's thrown 11 touchdown passes against divisional opponents to 0 picks, 71% completion percentage, 4-2 record, and he's won 3 straight games. So the AFC North needs to be on notice when they look at this CJ Stroud guy, especially when there's a lot of young quarterbacks surrounding this entire division. Tennessee Titans are 0-1 at a brutal loss late to Chicago. Will Levis looked good in the first half. They were up 17-3, and then the block punt made it 17-10, and then the scoop and score, or then the pick six. Terrible, terrible, terrible decision by Will Levis. Pressure was coming. Tried to flip it like this, like he took the football, and he went like that, floated it through the air, and it immediately got picked off and went to the house. So that was good. So Will Levis is going to have to figure out what he's doing. The Jacksonville Jaguars, they lost to the Miami Dolphins after having a 17-7 lead late in this ball game going into the end of the third quarter. Travis Etienne had a big fumble that got the Dolphins back in it. Tyreek had a long touchdown. They ended up winning the game. The Colts lost to the Texans 29-27. Anthony Richardson showed promise. He missed a couple of throws. He made a couple of mistakes, but him on the ground is a force to be reckoned with. You can't really tackle him one-on-one. You're going to need a couple guys to do that. And he might have thrown the farthest deep ball I've ever seen in my entire life. He threw a ball that was 66 yards in the air, traveled. It was the craziest thing I think I've ever seen. The NFC South, the New Orleans Saints beat the hell out of the Carolina Panthers 47-10. Derek Carr looked very good. I got them going 9-8, though, being kind of mediocre. I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning this division at 10-7. They just beat the Washington Commanders 37-20. Baker looked very good. Mike Evans caught 2 touchdowns. Chris Godwin caught a touchdown. They're both looking pretty good. This offense looked very good. Only held them to the garbage time touchdown. It really was a 13-point game. The Falcons, 0-1, bad loss to the Steelers. They lose 18-10. Kirk did not look very good. He threw a pick, to 2 picks actually. TJ Watt was all over the field disrupting this game. I think the Falcons will go 7-10. Not too much. We might see a Michael Penix sighting earlier than we think. The Panthers, maybe just as bad as last year. They're probably going to win 3 games. I got them going 2-15. I got them going 3-14, excuse me. They just lost 47-10. They were down 30-0 at halftime. And man, Bryce Young looked terrible. That's really all I can say about them. The AFC West, led by the Los Angeles Chargers, who took down my Raiders. They beat us 22-10 in LA, but it was a home game for the Raiders if you saw the stands. It was a slow start on offense. The Raiders' defense looked pretty good, but J.K. Dobbins took over in the second half. He had 130 rushing yards, a touchdown to seal it, and that was really the backbreaker. The Kansas City Chiefs, they're probably going to win the Super Bowl again. They're going to go 12-5 and win the AFC West because they do that every single year. They beat Baltimore 27-20 in the opener. Mahomes already passed Len Dawson in career passing yards in almost 100 less games. And Patrick Mahomes just became the fastest quarterback ever to 75 career wins since QB starts were first tracked in 1950. He just passed Tom Brady and Roger Staubach. They both had 99 games. It took Mahomes 97. Xavier Worley became the second player since 1990 with a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown in his NFL debut. He is blistering fast. The Broncos are 0-1, losing to Seattle 26-20. Another rookie quarterback, Bo Nix, went 26 for 42, 138 yards. He ran for 35 yards and also ran in a touchdown. My Raiders didn't look too good on offense. They lost 22-10 to the Chargers. I got them going 9-8. 9-8 would be a really good year for us. Devontae Adams is one of 2 receivers with 1,100 receiving yards and 8 or more touchdowns each of the last 4 seasons. Him and Stephon Diggs, the only other 2. Diggs had 2 touchdowns in his debut for the Texans. The defense looked very good in the first half. The offense looked very bad the whole game. So we'll see what happens with this team. Man, I'd like to have Derek Carr on this roster right now. The 49ers beat the Jets 32-19. I think they're going to go 13-4, probably be the best team in the league and win the division. McCaffrey did not play, but Jordan Mason played and went off. He had 28 carries for 147 yards. He averaged 5.2 yards a carry, and he had a touchdown on the ground. His 28 carries were his most in a game since 2016. So Jordan Mason never had the ball 28 times in a game before, ever. He never even carried the ball 28 times in college. The last time Jordan Mason carried the ball 28 times in a game was when he was at Gallatin High School in Tennessee in 2016. That's unbelievable. And Jordan Mason just rips up 147 yards and a touchdown on those 28 carries against a Jets defense that's supposed to be very, very good. It's the 4th most rushing yards in a season opener in 49ers history, behind Garrison Hurst, who had 187. Carlos Hyde had 168. McCaffrey last year, who had 154. And now Jordan Mason. It is also the 4th amount of rushing yards in a season opener by an undrafted player. Jordan Mason, the second-year undrafted player out of Georgia Tech. Seattle beat Denver 26-20. Weird game at first. Denver had 2 safeties in the first half. In the first half, Denver had 10 points. 2 safeties, 2 field goals, but then Geno Smith ended up running for a 35-yard touchdown, coming back late, and they won the game 26-20. The Cardinals looked good early. Kyler Murray had the offense going early. James Conner looked very good, touched the ball a lot. And then DJ Dallas had the first kick return touchdown under the new kickoff rules, but they did lose 34-28. The Rams, they also lost on Sunday Night Football 26-20. Puka got banged up. Stafford threw a red zone interception. It was the first turnover in the red zone all year. They didn't have one all last year. So week 1 of the NFL season is back. There was a lot of flags this week, but we'll see what that cleans up. We'll see what happens. But thank God the NFL is back. It's been fun to watch. So now, every Monday, we'll have an MLB podcast, and every Tuesday, we'll have an NFL one. So we're really back into the swing of things now. College football back in full swing. NFL in full swing. The final 2 weeks of the MLB season. We got the playoffs coming up. College basketball is going to start in about a month, 2 months. What a time it is for sports. Make sure you tune in with us on the Valentine Sports Show. We'll keep you up with everything you need to know. So, until next time, I'm Frank Rampin. Peace out.